Standard gardening advice works well for most vegetables. But when it comes to cucumbers, the usual rules of heavy compost and all-day sun can actually backfire. To unlock a truly massive harvest, you need to engineer a specific environmental system based on 4 strict pillars. Let's start with the foundation, the physical structure of your soil. Cucumbers have a massive vulnerability that general gardening advice often overlooks. Their roots are incredibly sensitive and highly prone to fungal diseases like root rot and damping off. When you plant them in standard, heavy organic compost or clay, that soil compacts. It holds onto water for too long, creates a stagnant environment, and completely suffocates the root system. Instead, you want to grow them in a sharp, sandy loam mix. Sand is completely misunderstood in the gardening world. Because sand particles are large and irregular, they cannot compact. They create massive micro-pockets of oxygen throughout the root zone. This does 2 critical things for the plant. First, it completely eliminates the risk of standing water rotting the roots. Second, because sand drains so fast, it forces the cucumber plant to expand its root network aggressively to hunt for moisture. You aren't weakening the plant by using sand. You are conditioning it to build a massive, powerful foundation that can support a heavy load of fruit later in the season. This leads directly into the second pillar, the logic of aggressive watering. Cucumbers are 95% water. They are incredibly thirsty, fast-growing plants. If they experience even a brief shortage of moisture, even for a single afternoon, the plant undergoes a massive stress response. It triggers the production of chemical compounds called cucurbitacins. This is the exact defense mechanism that makes your cucumbers taste bitter and unpalatable. To get perfectly sweet, crisp fruit, you must water heavily and frequently. But here is the catch. In heavy soil, that amount of water would drown the plant and kill it. This is where your sandy soil becomes an absolute superpower. Because sand drains so rapidly, you can practice high volume, aggressive hydration without any risk. The water passes through the root zone smoothly, keeping the environment consistently damp but perfectly aerated. This constant throughput of fresh, oxygenated water allows the fruit to expand rapidly, ensuring they grow straight, juicy, and completely free of bitterness. However, running a high-volume watering system in sandy soil introduces a major challenge. Nutrients leach out of the ground incredibly fast. If you only dump standard nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium into sand, your plants will eventually stall out and fail. You have to feed the hidden players, the micronutrients. There are 3 non-negotiables you must intentionally add to this system. First, you need calcium. Combined with your aggressive watering routine, consistent calcium builds incredibly strong cell walls, which prevents the fruit from collapsing or rotting at the tips. Second, you need boron. Boron acts as the biological catalyst for pollen tube growth. Without it, your blossoms will simply drop off the vine, and any fruit that does set will grow deformed, curled, or stunted. Finally, you need iron and manganese. These 2 minerals are the specific engines behind chlorophyll production, ensuring the leaves remain deep green and highly efficient. Which brings us to the final pillar, rethinking the full sun rule. The common advice is that sun-loving vegetables need 8 to 10 hours of brutal, direct heat. But look at a cucumber leaf, it is massive. It acts like a giant solar panel. In the blistering afternoon sun, these large leaves transpire water much faster than the roots can physically drink it up. This causes the plant to wilt and go into survival mode. When a plant wilts, its stoma to close and photosynthesis completely stops. The plant stops growing. By providing strategic partial shade, either by using a 30% shade cloth or by positioning your vines to catch dappled afternoon shadows from taller crops, you completely change the dynamic. You drop the ambient temperature just enough to keep the plant out of heat stress. In partial shade, the plant keeps its stomata open, allowing photosynthesis to continue smoothly all afternoon long. Instead of fighting to survive the heat, the plant directs 100% of its total energy straight into swelling the fruit.